Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'm running up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'm running up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. I wanna ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all. Living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough.
What's going on, people? Fame Entertainment from Lv1gaming.com, and congratulations, you guys are leveled up to 158. This is the Double XP podcast. Lots of things to talk about tonight. We have a wonderful guest that we can't wait to really deep dive into who they are and their story. We're going to talk about that Battlefield 6 reveal. We might have a countdown for that countdown before we actually talk about it. Then we're going to talk about our E3 expectations, not our predictions. We're saving that. Our expectations. But we're going to start first with the introductions. The man who used to be to my right, the man with the clamps, Citizen Snips.
Got a great show today for y'all folks. You can tell because I remembered to unmute myself. So we're already off to a great start. Things are rolling in the right direction. I'm not going to get in the way of them. We got a great podcast coming your way. So thanks for hanging with us, y'all. I appreciate it.
Next up, my right hand, man. My sister from another mister, Slim Hugger. What's going on, sis?
Not much, guys. I'm glad to be back, glad to be here, and can't wait to talk about some shenanigans.
DALLAZ. Man, he got me. He got me. What's going on?
Hey, man, that's one out of I don't know how many. That's one out of I don't know how many because you always get me. But look, man, I hope the show is better than my life is going right now because y'all know I almost always have a plate. And my food was on the way. It was supposed to have arrived by now, but it's looking like it's running a little late. So, both me and my meantime, I got this nice little Gundam model that I'm gonna get. So let's get it.
Now we may be experiencing some technical difficulties, and I think that's actually me because I thought Dallas froze, but actually all y'all have froze, so that means it's me. But we're gonna push forward because we're back and rolling now. Next up, if your DMs is popping, if you got 99 plus on your Twitter DMs, if your emails are full, that's because Baron J67 is trying to talk to you, baby. The communication director at Lv1gaming.com. What's going on, Chief?
You know, normally I don't have any products here. There's no sponsorship yet, but I do feel safer knowing that Soldier Supreme Snips is here looking after us, and we are here to have a great podcast. We got a great guest, and the lineup is epic. E3 is around the corner. It's kind of here, kind of now, but yes.
Last but not least, making their debut to LV1 Game WWP podcast. Someone I have been really interested to learn about as I began to see more and more stories on who they were and things that they have gone through and things that they have accomplished. I'm super giddy and excited to pick the brain of the CEO of Rainway, Andrew Sampson. How's it going?
Hey everyone, thanks for having me.
Hey, so we we're going to talk games. We're going to talk E3. We're going to talk other stuff, but we really have to get and break down about you, because I saw some stuff you had posted on Twitter and I thought was really interesting. It was around the time that you guys had announced your partnership with Microsoft. And it was some really very interesting things that you had said as far as, how you got to this current point. So if you can, tell us and the people who are watching, whether it's on iTunes, Spotify, on YouTube, a little bit about you and how you got started and how you got going with the Rainway app.
Yeah. We can just start from the top. So I've been programming my whole life, basically. I started playing a game called RuneScape all the way back in the early 2000s, and like every kid, I didn't want to actually play one to cheat, and so I ended up Googling and finding websites that were dedicated to writing hacks and all sorts of things for RuneScape, and that's when I discovered Java and sort of fell in love with computer science and this ability to create software and have you write lines of code and it does these really complex actions, and for me that was just sort of magical. And around high school, my freshman year, I dropped out. We were dealing with the recession of 2008. It was just an incredibly hard time for my family. It caused some fracturing. I ended up having to live in motels and couch surfing on friends' couches, and essentially just going without a permanent place to call home. A lot, as what's my favorite anime, Evangelion, as Shinji says, a lot of unfamiliar ceilings every night. And so it was a tough time, but I really I sort of pulled myself into coding and trying to work on products that I found really interesting and cool, and I worked on some stuff an app called Borderless Gaming. I worked on another thing called Netflix Roulette. These were my first real wins, successes, where people were using it and everyone was talking about it, and from that it sort of just lit a fire under my ass to keep doing it and see what I could do. And so every time I would get one accomplishment, I would set this bar to I gotta get another one, and I was I want to work on a video game. So then I went and I worked on The Forest, and I helped get that onto Steam and help make it stable, and I was great, I did that. Now I'm gonna want to go make a music app because Spotify's cool, and that got me in trouble. Then and then in 2016, after getting in trouble, I was thinking, well, what's the next technical hurdle that I want to try to solve? And one day I was being super lazy on my couch, and I didn't want to have to get up and go into the other room to change. I had this weird setup where I had Spotify hooked up to my house's speakers, and I would have to change it from my computer. I didn't feel like doing that, and so I was how can I do remote desktop from the web browser? And then that sort of started the snowball effect of me trying to go in, and I was well, this doesn't really exist, no one's doing it well, there's some hacky implementations. And then I spent the whole summer not going outside and creating this screen share protocol for doing screen sharing from a Windows PC into your web browser, and that ended up turning into an enterprise software company called Altarius. We thought it was really cool. We made some money, but then we saw everyone was using it to play video games in their browser, and so me and my co-founder at the time, we said, oh, fuck it, we don't really like working on enterprise SaaS right now. We're a little young. Let's go and let's build a gaming company. And so we took this idea of having games running in your browser, and we turned that into Rainway Gaming, which was this universal game launcher where you could take every PC game you owned and you could play it on any device that you had. And over a period of 4 years, we were incredibly successful at building that. Millions of users. We got into every platform. You could in the most literal sense take a PC game and play it on Android, iOS, tvOS, and Android TV, like a Roku. You got a microwave and an LCD screen and a Wi-Fi adapter in it. Great, we'll probably run on that too. And it was a really great endeavor for us, but we never saw a path to monetize it and make it a business. And so one of the things that we did last year was we started slowly pivoting. We started taking that core concept of Rainway and trying to boil it down. And at the center of it was this amazing technology that we had invented to take large amounts of visual data, like a video game, and transmitting it over the internet. And when we removed the limitations of being in that game vertical of just saying you have to stream a video game, literally we became the most valuable company in the world to thousands of other companies because they are all trying to solve this problem in different ways. And so we announced Rainway App Services, and one of our first customers for that was Microsoft, who uses us for Xbox Cloud Gaming. And now we're trying to work with some of the world's largest companies, Fortune 500, and as well as some of the world, some really talented teams that want to build larger companies, and we're giving them our technology and the infrastructure to go build the products they're envisioning.
you are someone, and as cheesy or corny as it may sound, like to see someone, a person of color, like that's like super inspirational, right? Because you were saying you dropped out of school, but you had this background in coding, so you're pretty much you were self-taught in a way. With your coding,
you stated in the beginning that it was hard, but then everything, the way it flowed out your mouth, you made the shit sound easy. Yeah, and then we just did that, and then just so happened Microsoft wanted to be, and you just made. I mean, did it just seem like it just fell out of the sky at times like that, or are you just making it sound cool?
I mean, it's like, so we can talk about it retrospectively and we can like talk about the good points, but it's like, there's a reason that if I like go talk to a bunch of MBA students and I'm like, they're asking like, what's your best startup advice? I'm like, get therapy. Because you're going to be miserable. Because there's like, for every big win, there's 1,000 like devastating losses. There's not getting the deal that you were looking for. There's getting passed on, you know, fundraising, being told no 100 times, being told your idea's stupid. And then of course you have to deal like as a person of color working in tech and trying to work in this space, a lot of racism and sort of systemic, like, you know, you have investors that their entire thesis for investing is pattern matching. And so when a black kid from Atlanta comes into their office and says, give me $10 million, they're like, get the fuck out.
Man.
And they're like, don't let the door hit you on the way out. And so there's a lot of that stuff you have to deal with. But like at the end of the day, you know, I'm 26 now. When I was younger, it was sort of this bullish, like I want to build and I want to do things because it's cool and it's fascinating to me. Now I'm a little older. I realize the position, how fortunate I am to be here, because statistically I should be flipping burgers or like still living on the street. But now I have an opportunity to sort of like build the ladder and the bridge that other black, young, inspired entrepreneurs and founders can use to get ahead, right? And so if I'm successful, my ultimate goal is to say, well, great, time to redistribute that capital so that I can make the next generation of black kids successful, right? Because who buy a Lamborghini, I can buy a big house, but like that doesn't, you know, create black generational wealth, which is my ultimate goal in life.
Yeah, and it's not just youth, man. I'm 33, and like you're an inspiration to me. Like this, I remember you were saying in one of the tweets how, you know, you was using McDonald's Wi-Fi at one point. And I'm like, yo, like this man really came from humble beginnings, and like that's the type of stuff I want to point to my son and say, you know, take a look at Andrew and like look what he wanted something. He wanted to be great, and he did. Like that's the type of stuff I don't think people see enough of or people hear enough of when it comes to, you know, young black, you know, stories of success. Because you're young. I mean, at one point you said when I was younger, you're 26. You and Hugger, you guys are babies, man.
Got me feeling old in here.
I'm a failure, and I'm just gonna
look. My shoulders start hurting, my knees start tightening up. I'm like,
like the moment I turned 30, my check engine light came on. Like, come on.
I think, you know, I think you do hit it on the head though. It's like there's a lot of like people, especially black folks, that are successful. We don't really hear their stories, and that's because, you know, either the stories are used as feel-good stories to excuse hundreds of years of racism, and they're like, preach! They got one little success now. Why are they still complaining? Like, what was it like during George Floyd? They're like, why are people? There's like Google project manager goes, why are you people mad? Like, you got Black Panther. I'm like, what? So like you deal with that sort of stuff, but then like that's where I write. Like my outlet, my sort of self-care is because I write not just for myself, but for other black folks that are sort of living within America. I write about my stories and the experiences I've had because I know that just reading them can be an instantaneous healing factor for a lot of different folks because they've also been through. My story is not unique. I'm just very loud.
That's what matters, being loud and see when you say being loud, some people take it as negative, but be loud, be proud.
Oh yeah, no, I'm very much I accept the fact that like when I speak, my voice booms, and like that is because I want to be heard, because I know I have a story to tell. I know that when I tell my story, I'm telling the story of thousands of other black people in America.
That's true. Or Canada, because you're telling my story.
Canada too.
Yeah, right.
We'll throw a circle around North America and we'll call it a day.
we pass over France. That's the one rule.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
We love you, French people.
Just kidding.
Comment t'appelles-tu? Je m'appelle Andrew.
C'est de fromage.
Oh god.
So, Andrew, I do have a question. So, I personally, because I'm an old head, like we said, I am a physical game collector. I love physical media. And over the last couple of years, especially with Microsoft making this big push with digital content, there's been this fighting force between, and I'm okay with digital, right? I just prefer physical. There's this fighting force between digital and physical media. And some people are saying that the digital streaming, this is the future. This is the way games is going. Some people are saying it's not the future. It's a dedicated console. It's a physical box. It's you going in physically grabbing the game. So with you being in the industry that you're in, like, how do you see game streaming's future? Like, do you really see this as, I mean, obviously in my mind with your company, you're going to sort of lean that way, but do you see that future being closer than what people are fighting against?
I think it has to be a mix of both, right? Like, cloud gaming and by extension any application streaming should be a complementary extension to the way that we go about interacting with the things that we love, especially games. And so if like you need to use an application for work, or you want to play a video game and like you can't afford the next Xbox, or you can't afford the next upgrade cycle of a PC, well, you should still have the ability to access that stuff. You know, there are limitations to streaming. You need an internet connection. You need to be in a major metropolitan like area, right? Like if you're in the middle of Wisconsin, like, I mean, I'll love to build a data center out there one day, but I'm sorry, buddy, you got to connect all the way across the West Coast if you want like an actual stable stream. And so like there's always going to be a market for the physical local medium, because like that is just like at the end of the day it works offline, and that's really, really important. Now when you look at streaming and what it offers, especially cloud gaming, it gives people accessibility, the ability to play these games when they can't afford a hardware, but it also provides developers the ability to offer a more high fidelity experience than what you can get on hardware, because once hardware is made, it's fixed. But in the cloud, you can replace things at any point. You can put in stronger GPUs, which means developers have a playground to really test and see how far they can push their stuff. And that's going to influence the next generation, because the way it works is software influences hardware and hardware influences software. It's an endless cycle, and cloud gaming is just really a part of that.
You know, hearing that, my first thought was Nintendo Switch, and how not too long ago they were running what was it, Control, Hitman, there was a few other games that were being streamed there, and that I think there was something, and that was the very first thing that popped up to my head when hearing you say that, because it just, of course, I don't think there's a chip out there, a Nintendo Switch cartridge with Control on it that'll look like how it did.
Yeah, like the Tegra chip of the Switch just can't run like these games at their full like quality in the way that the original artist intended it to be, and that's where streaming really does come in, right? If you can offer that complementary experience, do it. Now, it should never replace the full thing, because there should always in some way be access to the actual software, right? There's freedom in that, and I'm a big proponent that there should be the ability to always maintain and have a copy of software that you paid for. As people like try to move to like these like licensing models where you don't really own the game, I'm fully against that, like just almost entirely, right? And so, yeah, that's why I'm glad Steam is like, yo, if we ever shut down, we will mail you physical copies of every game in your library, right? It's like we will burn the disc and ship them to you.
I hope they never have to do that.
I didn't know that was a thing.
They're never going to do that because they print so much money.
They do. They really do.
But you know what? It's so crazy. I think with everything pushing closer, you know, we are leaning heavier, obviously, digital and streaming and cloud. I think one way that'd get me to completely roll over to that is like, hey, here's your code. Like that would be enough to get me like without question, like, hey, here's your code, it's yours. If you know, once you uninstall it, you can write it down, email it, put it in a letter, send it to someone else, they'll now have access to it. Because that's just, you know, that physical feeling. And it would, I mean, I wouldn't have much of an argument anymore, because, you know, there's some companies out there, you think you bought the movie, but then all of a sudden they lose the rights to it, and the movie's now not in your library.
Yeah. or like what there was like a really a case just recently with iTunes where some guy had bought like $40,000 worth of movies and TV shows off of iTunes, and they banned them, and he requested them to mail him physical copies of all the media, and they refused to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think they're still in court for that one. That one's going to be a fun read. Apple's being sued by everyone right now.
Man,
Yeah.
Apple
That's
is
the
the
thing
big bad wolf at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
Everyone wants a
Deserve
piece
it.
of Apple.
They've been doing some shady
The
shit.
thing about
lately.
that, like situations like that too, where it's like an individual versus a company, is the individual never really wins. Even if the court rules in your favor, Apple's going to drag it out for the next 10 years, and you're going to spend so much money in court fees and lawyer fees that by the
Tied
time
up
they're
in
like, okay,
litigation.
you won, we'll mail you all your stuff, you're probably going to die from stress or like, I'm bankrupt, I'm in debt, it doesn't matter that I have my movies now. It just,
Yeah.
the whole system's so jacked up with that, man.
But it'll be a landmark case though, and it'll set precedents. Like that's what makes me like. Thank God there's somebody out there fighting a good fight. Because I remember there was a situation not too long ago with, and it was only one that I heard of, and it was with Sony. Somebody in PlayStation, they got their account banned, and they lost access to their all their digital stuff. And that, I don't ever plan on doing anything shady on my account that I spent all this money on. Or shady period, but let's clean that up a bit. But what if I do something on accident? What if I didn't know I was breaking the terms of service?
Or even more
And then
importantly, what if they just they messed up and they ban you for like a glitch? It happens all the time.
Yeah.
Giving users that reassurance that like when they buy something, it is theirs is a lost art in the digital age. And I think like a company that is able to like provide that reassurance to gamers as a whole is going to make a lot of money. Like Valve in a way does it right because everyone sort of just knows Valve is never going away. And once a game is like, someone can pull a game from Steam, but if you owned it and you installed it once, you can still install it whenever you want to, right? And so there's no way to take a game away from your library. But that same sort of like that perpetuality of the usage doesn't exist on media streaming, especially like Netflix, right? Like I was in the middle of watching Trigun when it got pulled off. And like I'm just never going to finish it because I'm not going to torrent it, and it's not on Crunchyroll.
And my kids never recovered from Trolls being pulled. That ruined my whole household. My daughter was calling everybody Bergens. So that was a problem.
I mean, it's not just digitally. See, and this is the thing we've always talked about is we can sit here and talk video games because this is what we do. But there's a big movement even outside of it. Like I live in an area where there's a lot of farmers, and it's the right to repair. Where a lot of companies you can buy full price whatever the equipment is, a John Deere tractor, $100,000+, but they don't want you repairing it at all. You have to take it to them, so you have to be down a week or two, or even a month if they are busy. And a lot of these companies are moving towards that. I'm like, I'm not for that.
Yeah, like being able to fix your own stuff. And then this actually brings up a really good point around game preservation, right? It's like, what happens when a game's abandoned? After you spent maybe you spent hundreds of dollars in this game, or you bought it for its $59.99 base price. Then the multiplayer shuts down, and then, over years, bit rot sets in, and the game stops working. What if someone in the community decides to take it upon themselves and fix it and like restore it? Like, what is the copyright and IP like assignment around that is not clear. And I know this because I'm going through it right now with this game, Area 51. Which I've spent the last 4 years like painstakingly restoring, and finally just like managed to get source code access for it, and now I'm like getting ready to do a Steam release, and it's like still not even clear to WB after it went through like THQ owned it, went bankrupt, sold it through like 40 different companies, and now they're like, we don't even know, right? And so it's like software at this point like is a digital asset, and it's like, what does the ownership look like after so long? It's hard to say. All I know is this game's been fun to restore. I really love it.
Just part time. I'm running.
It's my weekend project. Some people build chairs. Some people build chairs. I restore games for my child.
So Andrew, you're on the show with us. We're hanging out, we're having a good time. We have a friend of the podcast, Jeff Grubb, who promised us that you would be our personal Our personal, what do you call it, Hugger?
Support.
Tech
Tech support. If we ever have issues with Rainway, this was promised.
Jeff,
via
I
Jeff Rudd.
didn't sign up for this.
Don't do that to this man. That's torture nobody deserves.
While you're here, I got a ticket. No, I'm
Well, hey, let me refer you to our enterprise SaaS support. We only bill at $1,000 an hour.
I'm like, man, I was promised personal tech support. So I got a ticket ready to go for you.
I mean, listen, earlier I couldn't figure out why my TV wouldn't turn on, so I don't know how much help I
Oh man.
The smartest people you know have troubles.
He's like, I'm just rebuilding the game, but I couldn't figure out how to get
I don't know, man. Sometimes devices are too smart, and I'm just like, I give up. Screen's black. I'll fix this later.
Which way do these batteries go in? I can't
Printers
figure
are
it
the
out.
worst. I will go on record as saying printers
everyone
are
hates
the
printers.
demons of the technology.
There's not a. I don't even
build a
think.
computer blindfolded, but you give me a plug and play printer, and when I put that stuff in and it tells me everything works, but then you click a file to print and it just nothing happens. No, nah, never again.
I don't even
Never
think
again.
printer developers think printers are good. So it's.
Nah. Wait till you get to big, like full screen, full size printers that we had to do for our
The
printing.
industrials.
And you put, like,
Nope.
a number in there.
We
the
call
wrong number.
UBO.
They're
Listen,
huge. They're thousands of dollars, and one number can mess them up. It's like, okay,
Yep.
Oh boy.
yes.
Or when the ink explodes and then the whole office has like the black powder liquid ink everywhere, and it's
Actually,
yeah.
the big printers, you don't use liquid ink. You use almost like a paste. It's
Yeah,
thick, and
it's the
everywhere.
big. We got those big weird like
Thick.
yeah. Yeah. I avoid it. I am not. Thick. It's thick.
It's thick. It's
there
like
was a
motor
point in
oil.
time
It's
where you couldn't
disgusting.
even program the front of a VCR, and now we're rebuilding games over the weekend.
Same.
Yeah, you know.
I know.
Yeah.
You know me. I'm a retro head, and I'm in that.
Thank you, Chocolate.
Most people that are watching may not know what a VCR is.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, how
You
many
and
people
Andrew
even
don't
know what a VCR
is,
is?
right? I forget. You
I
and
don't.
Andrew were-
I
you and Andrew were
I
born
know what
in
VCRs are.
99. What year is this?
Hey,
Not 95, but I would like, in my defense, I would like above my shoulder. There is a Nintendo 64 dev kit, and there is a Dreamcast. So like, I'm with
You don't
it.
have to
I'm
stun
hip,
on me
I'm
though.
cool.
You don't have to stun on me, Andrew. Now he was like, you know what?
Yeah, just a
Flex
little
time. He's like flex
Yeah,
time.
he's like,
I'm just
I'm
saying,
hearing
if,
a little
it's,
ageism here.
if it was built before the 90s, I'm with it.
Did you have a race car VCR tape rewinder?
I had a race car bed. I'll step you. I had a race car bed. Hot Wheels. I had the Hot Wheels PC too. There was a phase.
those were awful. Those were like in partnership with Barbie ones too. Oh,
I love that thing, man.
Oh,
Oh
so
god,
good. But
Fun.
so hard at the same time.
classic.
Oh boy.
I watch Pocahontas so much on VCR. I can still
Oh.
tell you where I stretched out the tape.
Oh god.
Like, and my dad
Oh
was like,
man.
my dad can still
Ever-
quote it because we used to watch Lion King, Pocahontas, all of them together. He's like,
Everyone's
"Never
talking about
again."
VCRs, but it's like we all know Betamax was really the that was it. That was the
Unsung
format.
hero.
Oh, I only seen them in school. That's the only place I ever seen the Betamaxes.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
really
yeah,
interesting.
what
Like
the fuck?
I saw a really good mini documentary on why exactly Betamax lost, and it was all football. It was because their tape wasn't long enough to record a football
what
game.
a football game.
That matters, okay?
That was the defining factor for VHS winning.
Listen, if I can't watch the Cowboys go 8-9, then it's because there's an extra game. Yeah, there's an extra game this season. Otherwise, it'd be 8-8.
Well, it's always crazy how something like that can really control the market. Like like you said with VCR and Betamax, the NFL, with at one point porn. Wherever porn went, that's where you went. All right, Blu-ray, boom. And now gaming is that big medium to wherever gaming goes, that's where the industry's gonna go. So
Yep.
It's always
That's
crazy
why
how
That's why
one
gaming.
particular-
Yeah, that's why gaming's the metaverse. I mean, that's why like when we think about what is the next evolution of social media and the way that we connect with each other people, it's Fortnite, right? It's like you can go in there and you can watch concerts and you can do Roblox, Fortnite. What's the VR one? Rec Room. These games are just all about community and like doing things that aren't actually just shooting other people. It's building and collaborating and having fun in a virtual world, and like that is the next evolution of social media. And so I'm glad Fortnite and Roblox like took off because it's allowing an entirely new category of people to discover video games, even if they're like well into their 70s and 80s. Like my nana plays Roblox. Like that's how like far spread it is.
That's
so
epic.
Cool. I've talked about this several times on the show. There's a specific Minecraft server. I wish I could remember the name, but they created a library and they put as much as they could. They're still working on it, but every thing that was ever written, they've put it into a book in the library. So people that may not have access to it, like China, they can go and still read it in this library. And I'm like, that's what I like about gaming. Or when Notre Dame burned down, Ubisoft Montreal gave their scans to the French government to rebuild the Notre Dame. That's what I love about gaming.
Oh, I do
Beautiful.
remember that. That was
Gaming is beautiful, man.
One thing you're going
to Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you good, boss? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's like one of the reasons I love Area 51 so much was because I just remember waking up like on Friday, Saturday mornings, climbing off my couch to go turn on the PS2, and then just like that's the game that taught me how to snipe in like first person shooters. You aim ahead, you don't aim at. Like it's some random stranger giving me that tip. Like meeting tons of friends, like memorizing these glitches that allowed you to get out of the map. It was like all these very special moments that I now carry with me for the rest of my life. It's like really only games can do that, right? Mm-hmm. It's you can get some of those moments from like maybe going and seeing a movie with someone, but really only games continuously can generate these memories that are just so valuable to all of us. And we're like decades later, like, yeah, I wonder how that random 420 no scope gamer dude is doing these days.
Dude, tell me who else would put in the time and dedication to figure out super jumps in Halo 2 multiplayer. Like, if you crouch here and then walk along this line and then jump off here and land in this exact spot and then do a 360 and then shoot twice, you'll bounce up in the air. It's like, how the hell did you even figure this out? Right?
Where do you
runners?
Gamers are different.
They're crazy bunch too. Huh?
We're different, and I think that's a small delay between me and y'all. It's because of the buds. And that's my fault. So if I cut y'all off, I'm so sorry.
Did
Just
you not charge
ignore
them?
me.
It's that charter internet, charter spectrum.
Yeah, then having spectrum.
Fix it, Andrew. Fix it.
Yeah, listen.
My personal tech support.
I can get this. We can make streaming fast. We're still tied to the ISPs. I can't talk shit about
them. He was like, if you can get the ups and downs, we got you.
Exactly.
I can't help you any other time, man.
I swear, anytime I have any type of issue with the anything, I'm gonna just tag Andrew. Andrew, what you doing, buddy?
Probably dealing with ISPs.
Tag, I'm going right to his DM. What do you mean? Tag? Oh no.
Slide up in the DM, boy.
Yeah, we're in a really fun like point in the company right now where we're like building data centers, right? And so like I'm getting to learn so much about how much effort goes into laying just even like a mile of fiber. It's crazy.
Oof.
I shouldn't even say a mile, 100 feet.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like we were thinking about one of the problems that we're eventually going to face is we're going to have to like drag fiber from a building across the street to a different building across the street, and like there's just so much that goes into that 100 feet distance.
One of my buddies, he works with a company that does that. Like they plot the pathways for the cables and all that for the fiber. And every time I drive around with him, it cracks me up because like we'll just be driving down a random street and he's like, I put fiber under there. He's like, yeah, you see that building over there? We ran all the fiber to it. He's super proud of it, and I'm like, I've seen the work that goes into it, and I'm like, dude, I get it. Like, it's really cool.
Yeah, and then, we were laughing today because they're like, yeah, we'll put in all this effort, and it could be great, and then some random person with a backhoe will cut it one day on accident.
It's my property. I do what I want.
I do what I want.
Build a pool.
Andrew, I know you just talked about recreating a game that I think you're the only other person I know that has played it. if you're in the business of making games, I wouldn't mind some, No One Lives Forever 1 and 2. Those
I
games
didn't
are
even know anyone
out.
else thought those games existed. I thought I was having a fever dream when I played those.
I feel only Trevor, who I run Cogs and Machine with, he's the only other person that's heard of them. But I'm like, those games are so good.
Those games were so
Their
good.
stuff-
There was like a game that came out on Steam that was like almost similar to it. I can't remember what it was about, or the
Yeah.
title of the game was. But yeah, No One Lives Forever. I don't even know if I don't even know if I'm
Like
capable of
Vivendi
fixing
Hell.
those broken.
Don't say that.
binaries.
Don't say that. Don't say such sad things.
Well,
You can
there's
do
a
it.
website
We
that
believe.
you can download them and then contract Jack, and somebody's like, look, you're not gonna be able, like Escape from Butcher Bay, you're not gonna be able to buy these.
Yeah,
There
it's a
you
good game.
go. Enjoy them. Somebody owns them, but we don't know who, because probably the paperwork
They
is sitting
might
at the
not
bottom
even
of a
know.
box.
Yeah, dude, you'll be surprised the amount of games where they're just like no one even knows who owns them anymore, right? And it's like, yeah, it's crazy. Like No One Lives Forever is a great one. Area 51, I'm so glad to finally have gotten the source code to it, because that just means I can do anything with it now, right? It's like I want to add, Mac support, or I want to give it 64-bit support, or just fix the fact that you can't jump if you have a frame rate higher than 60, right? It's like I can do all of these things, and like I don't actually have to manually patch the binaries anymore, which is why it's taken like 4 years to do almost all the stuff I have, versus like it being 2 weeks of work.
Man.
You're a hero.
Wait, so
True
when
world hero.
so in the future, when this goes up on Steam, will you be the publisher?
Oh, interesting question.
Cross that bridge when we get to it, okay?
Listen, all I know is
There
like
yet.
this is all we know. They were like THQ before they went bankrupt released the game for free for anyone to download as freeware.
Mm-hmm.
If I just want to push it to Steam, I'm just going to push it to Steam for free. And just like put in some Steamworks and let people download and play it.
Nice.
And then
know,
probably get in trouble.
Probably.
A little bit, but you know what's so crazy? It's funny thinking about this. Like even with today, what those WB games that are supposed to be that were announced not too long ago.
Yeah.
That all of those, and nobody's formally said it, but I believe they're all up in the air right now because I know that's all being sold and split up, and that's probably why we're not seeing them at E3. And I know this was for a later part of the show, but it just it's crazy that these games that I know I was excited for the Harry Potter and the Hogwarts Legacy game. Like I was truly, that's all I ever wanted. I was like, dude, I get to create a black kid running around and being House Slytherin. Like that's all. Ooh. Like with RPG elements,
Patronum on your end.
That's all I wanted. And I was getting ready to get it, and then all of a sudden they had to figure, let's sell.
Yeah, and that's like sort of why I'm like, who's the publisher going to be? Because like technically, it's supposed to be WB Games that owns the rights to Area 51, but like no one cares about Area 51 anymore. So it's like, are they going to sell all those assets? We'll find out. Find out next time on the next episode of I'm going to get sued.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
I feel like we're gonna come back to this at some point in the future when we're seeing articles written. Yep, he got away with it. He did it. He did it.
Games like those.
Oh man.
And like No One Lives Forever is, they're so old, not old, because then I would be calling everybody aside from Andrew and I old here. But you guys are old.
Go ahead.
They're
Shut your
so
mouth.
They also came out like almost over a decade ago.
exactly.
What happened was
A decade ago, I was in high school, so
oh, man.
make y'all feel old.
A decade ago.
Yeah,
I was kicking it with my now wife.
I was with my
these games
wife.
don't have like a Batman have a continuous thing to them. It's almost like somebody should. I mean, look how long. It was just released on Internet Archive. The PS3 version of Gears of War was officially dropped.
Mm-hmm.
That it took years for that stuff to come out. So I think we're gonna see it, and it's thanks to people like Andrew that are doing it. With Venom, Area 51, I don't know how many people are gonna play it. I will if you're putting it out.
It's gonna be me and like maybe you, some random person. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a labor of love for myself.
There you go.
You gotta love it.
Long you do it for yourself, it's worth it. But we're all going to switch gears just a bit because I do want to talk E3. This isn't our predictions. We're not doing our predictions, so that's going to be tomorrow. But I know earlier Andrew had talked about E3, maybe going to the wayside, possibly at some point because of the way things are going. But it is back this year. In a way, it's not the same. It doesn't feel the same. It's all digital show. Everyone knows one of the best parts about E3 is actually being there and networking and being with people. But the week has kicked off. I know we've been inside of some of the stuff with the media week. Baron, Hugger, and myself. So I do want to go around the room and ask you guys, what are your expectations from this week? Because this could be a week to where people say, yeah, this is why we didn't have it last year. It can die, or it can say, all right, this is the beginning of something completely different and new. I do want to start with, I guess, Andrew. What are your expectations? What are you wanting out of E3 for it to continue to be something that you will look forward to each year?
I'm actually really excited for Battlefield 2042.
I was about to say, yeah, what are they calling it?
Yeah, because I like the old one that they released years ago. I love that. I used to play with my friend Alex basically every single night. And then like the fact they're doing a remake, basically, I've seen people complaining that it doesn't have a campaign and it's not going to have like Battle Royale. I'm like, that the first one didn't either. Right? It was like a standalone thing. And so it's really cool to see them branching out, going back to their roots. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't have a whole lot of expectations, right? I'm really excited to see what's going to show up at the PC Gamer Show. Console-wise, it's like, I'm not that big of a console gamer. If there's an exclusive that's a little enticing, maybe I'll, finally convince myself to buy PlayStation 5. But really, it's just, it's the indies I really care about. And so I'm looking forward to see if, there's anything at the PC Gamer Show that, catches my eye.
So you're like, I'm really big into. I love independent games, independent developers. So I'm the same. That's why I love PAX. I love PAX South. Yeah. It's pretty much a really big indie show, right? And I love indie titles, man. Because sometimes you find some of your favorite games are from indie developers because they have that little bit of extra love put into the game that you don't always get from the AAA gaming machine. You get that from it's like Greek and other titles, man. You get that from indie developers because they really absolutely not saying that big developers don't, but they really care about you loving their video game, and that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, So if indies are going to be the big thing I'm keeping an eye out for.
So hopefully have a good. I know Microsoft normally does a indie reveal for. What are they called? It used to be what are the Xbox's indie thing used to be called back in the 360?
Xbox Arcade,
ID?
Xbox Arcade, and now it's called ID and Xbox. So they always do that real. Oh man, Xbox Arcade it was so many good games.
Aegis Wings. I got hours in that game, and then what was the other one? Castle Crashers.
Yep.
Crashers.
That's fun. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? With the game I am looking forward to the most, and I know maybe Warner Brothers isn't showing up. I want to see that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game. It looks so good.
As long as it's better than the movie.
Me and Fame like the movie. That's the thing.
I like the movie. I thought the movie was good.
Are we talking about the original one or the new one that's coming out?
The new one looks stupid.
The new one
I love the
hasn't come out
original.
yet, so nobody's seen it.
Release
the trailers look great.
Release the David Ayer cut.
My thing is, we're always just so critical with video games that I just want to sit down and watch something and enjoy it. And I enjoyed Suicide Squad for what it was. It's not great, not outstanding, but I enjoyed it and I had fun because it was stupid.
So you enjoyed trash for trash is basically what
I love trashy movies and television shows.
I was watching The Never-Ending Story. That's trash. It's awesome. I love it.
The Never-Ending Story is trash?
Baron's about to cry.
Go watch it. Go
watch
it.
I guess the only reason I like The Never-Ending Story is because the horse reminds me of the horse from Shadow of Colossus, and so I'm like...
why did you bring that up?
We can't sit here. We're not about to sit here and slander.
There you go.
I gotta have sunglasses on because
we're not finna sit here and slander my homie Bastion. We just not about to do that because that's rude. We're not being rude today.
Now it's in that weird area of practical effects and weirdly digital effects.
Look, you can't. But
it's not great.
you can't judge old
I know we talked
things
about
by
this with
today's
Mass Effect.
standards.
You
It's
can't
jacked
judge
I
up.
can
whatever.
absolutely judge all things by today's standards.
No, that's not fair. Like, you can't get mad for like you had shitty special effects when back then it was groundbreaking. They didn't have access to the same technology.
Here's a great example of that. The Thing, the original one, is so much better
So
than the
much
remake
better.
they did. Right?
That's
much.
true.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
So
1000%.
there's a hole in your story.
No,
And
it's
the
not a
90s
whole.
Mortal Kombat is one of the best
It's-
movies of all time.
I
It's
love the
Yeah.
original Mortal Kombat
It's
so
just-
much.
so
It is so
Thank
corny.
It is
It's
good.
so corny and so good.
Yeah, it's nice.
I think
Also, I was so
because it's
disappointed when you only got
supposed to-
techno in the new Mortal Kombat at the credits. I was expecting
Oh,
techno from
yeah.
the start.
Oh my
That's true.
Like
And the literal plot armor.
Literally,
the
everyone.
the literal plot armor.
Oh my god.
He said, "Protect me. I am the main character."
Hey, and you know what? I respect it.
It was
Because
good.
it's true.
They did my boy.
Defeat me and my authors.
I'm the guy who
They did my
sits
boy
there
Goro
watching
dirty
anime
in that
when
movie.
the main character's like
Goro
looking like
was
he's about to
done
lose a
dirty.
fight, and I'm like, "Don't worry, bro. You're the main character. You'll be fine."
I hope that wasn't actually Goro. I hope it was like his cousin.
Right? Yeah.
They couldn't get Goro to show up because it was like,
Goro.
wow.
Like he didn't win the last NetherRealm tournament. Like, come on. Like
Rock,
this is the
paper,
tournament
scissors,
champ.
show up today.
Melina taken out too. All my favorite characters just gone.
Right.
Done.
It
I
makes
think
me wonder
the
what
the new
that-
one, I think it did exactly what I expected of it. It had like campy little like references to the video game, which was nice.
him.
It had cool special effects and decent fight choreography. That's all I wanted out of that movie, and it delivered on all of those things.
Oh,
wasn't
I
looking-
didn't pay attention to any of that stuff. I was just watching it. Get over here.
The only English. Get over here.
I will say that the original '90s Scorpion fight with Johnny Cage was way better than the fight in the new one. In my opinion, I'll stand on that
It
hill.
was
That-
iconic. I'm with you on that.
I love that the
Iconic.
skeleton head they used in that original Mortal Kombat is the same exact one from the Evil Dead movies, and you can tell.
Like, hey, we got this acid over here.
Yeah, there's props laying around.
What's left over
Yeah.
in
Let's make it happen, Captain.
Well, I think sometimes we can look at the older stuff and like the older stuff a little bit more. I love the original Angelina Jolie Tomb Raiders more than I enjoyed the new Tomb Raider. I thought I like.
There's a
Alicia
new Tomb
Vikander.
Raider?
Alicia Vikander, right?
No, I'm not being facetious.
Dead serious. Dead serious. There is.
I
And it's
have not
based
seen
on the
years
newer
ago.
games. Yeah.
Yeah, it's based on the reboot, but like Angelina Jolie, she bae, she life, she's in the new Marvel Immortals. I really don't care.
I love Anthony Jolie, but those movies were terrible.
I'm just trying to figure out where I've
I was
been the last 4
actually,
years.
I was actually a fan of
Not
those
that
movies.
bad.
Like
Wasn't
those
her dad
original,
The
yeah.
fact that they're Tomb Raiders, like the Mulan movie, you take off the fact that it's the new Mulan movie, it's a decent action movie.
Hey, the new Mulan
think
movie
it's a
be
terrible
busting.
Mulan movie.
It's such a good movie.
I was with y'all till y'all said Mulan.
It's
The
terrible
Mulan movie good.
movie,
Just don't
great
look at it as a
action movie.
Mulan movie.
That shit,
It's good.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Garbage.
Ah.
You've been saving that one for a while.
Pow, pow,
Sitting on it.
pow,
Now,
pow.
these off the dome freestyle bars.
With the
But no. How did we fall so far from God's grace? We were talking about E3.
we were talking E3, and if somebody said Mortal Kombat,
I can see why.
and then
People
we just-
wouldn't wash their goddamn hands, so now we have to all wear masks. That's how we fell from God's grace.
I hate to break it to you, Hugger, but we fell long before that.
I know,
So,
but I can blame
so
it on
long
2020 because of the people I've seen come out of 2020.
I'll tell you, you want to know true fear and panic? I was at PAX East when COVID started to get bad, and then like we're hearing over the speaker like warnings about like there's a new case of COVID in Boston. Just
PAX
be aware.
East is
As
musting
we're
it up
setting up
already.
for
It doesn't
PAX
need any
East.
help.
Yeah, and then I'm shaking hands with like hundreds of people looking at my phone. And I'm like,
Oh.
I'm like, I want to go home.
You were like, okay, at this point, it's not if, it's when I get it.
Exactly. And then, like when PAX East was over, I was like, goodbye.
Oh.
I'm gonna go take a Lysol bath. I'll see you guys later.
Oh,
You know,
man.
fortunately, man, I think we're getting back to some normalcy a little bit. We're things are getting somewhat back to
Canada.
normal. I can't wait till we get gaming conventions back. Andrew, I hope one day to be able to shake your hand. I cannot wait till we get back to some type of normalcy.
We're gonna throw some banger parties when like the time comes. All of you, everyone listening and on this podcast, come to the VIP door.
Clip it!
It's
Clip
gonna
it!
be us partying because Fame and Baron are gonna be asleep. Kevin, we're gonna lose him 5 minutes in, and Dallas will be like,
We're gonna
It'll be 9:30. I'm like,
Man. Look,
Like,
I gotta go
why
check
did
in
I
on the
get
kids.
dragged?
I'll be wide awake. Everyone's gonna be taking naps and be playing like granddaddy.
like, Andrew, you got a futon I can lay
GoldenEye
on
on for you guys.
Like, just wake me up when it's time for snacks.
I really can't wait, dude. Like I miss, going to conventions. I do my best work networking with people. It's one thing online, like I'm happy we can have podcasts, and meeting Andrew for the first time is freaking amazing, right? But it would have hit different. It would have hit different if we could have been in the same room. I could have shook your hand without worrying about, me giving you COVID, you giving me it hits different, right? So I really can't wait until we get back to.
It's the same thing with during the course of COVID, our business has moved to Zoom calls, right? But what it used to be was every week I would fly down to San Francisco, take meetings, and fly back to Seattle and repeat that. And the ability to do it in person was just so exhilarating. And plus, I was flying, so I felt like I was actually working. Now I'm just time to do another Zoom call. I'll put on pants for this one.
No, you don't have pants on. Don't lie.
Pants.
Or very long boxers, whatever one's closer.
Right.
I think it's funny too. And now that we have you here, Andrew, and looking at you now, I'm like, man, I feel bad for our thumbnail because he looks like 12. And
you're doing me dirty. That's my best headshot.
He had the full beard. Now I'm like, man, how young was he in this picture that I found?
I was 25. That was last year. So no, that was 20. I was 24 because it was 2019.
What a beard would do to a man.
I remember when I was 24.
Yeah, I always grow a full beard. I always grow a full beard. I gotta shave it though, because poof, I just start to look like Donald Glover after a little bit with the unkemptness, and I don't pull it off as well as he does. I look like the Weeknd got hit by a truck, so I got
shit. It's priceless. Hey man, are you generally busy on Wednesdays around 7 p.m. Central Standard Time? I'm here regularly. You're more
I think I'm
generally
busy 24/7, but I can make some time to take a break.
and now that he's our personal tech support, he's gonna be even more busy now. Thank you, Jeff.
Hey, listen, you want to invite me to play a video game? I'm there. You want to invite me to fix your TV? You want to outride TV?
Do you outride?
Do you outride?
What the hell is outride?
Don't let him
save Enoch.
So I'm going to give you a fun little fact. I ran a video game company for 4 years. I played basically no video games during that time.
Baron don't either.
Yo, that's because people who make video games don't have time to play them, unfortunately.
Exactly. And now that I'm not doing video games, I'm like, yeah, Apex Legends, that game I've never heard of. Let's do it.
I think we got somebody else to save Enoch.
There's a planet that we have to save daily called Enoch. We have to get you to come.
It needs us.
Enoch with us. It needs.
That's
Enoch.
a nerdiest thing I've heard all day. I love
it. When's Enoch gonna save y'all? That's my question.
It can't.
Don't ask those questions.
If you don't want to even save Bastion with me, you're not gonna save Enoch.
We gotta save Enoch. I was
saving
Earth.
What you guys are talking about? I'm like, are they is this a bit? What's Enoch? Bastion? Diva, love her. She's great.
Outriders, and because I can't go one podcast without mentioning Bastion is the place where Anthem is set. So, and I'm still playing it.
Anthem, that game. That's why I never heard of it.
Are you gonna save?
Oh, wow!
I can't. I don't think BioWare could save that game.
Hey, BioWare was about to save it, and then they were like, "Nah, hang on, let's just."
Bro, they did legit do a LeBron. They were like, "So we're gonna make the announcement."
I'm taking my talents to South Beach.
They did a LeBron.
My biggest issue with that is they canceled it and then they put it on Game Pass. Why? What was the decision behind that?
I think they were trying to say. I think they were really just trying to get that player boost, but it's like I haven't heard anyone actually play Anthem. Like I've never heard anyone say they played it.
Here's the
Hugger.
I have no self-control.
Me and Fame tried at launch, and then we just got fed up with it at some point. And we're like,
Did it cost money?
You know what,
Was it a
though?
free play game?
No.
Nah.
No.
I bought it
virtually-
and I paid $120 for it.
Okay, well,
But I
I'm
got
sorry.
my $120 worth out of it, though.
Save it, Andrew.
Good.
Save it.
Good.
Fun fact about Anthem, and I gotta back Hugger up on this because I enjoyed and sometimes still enjoy Anthem. So, I mean, I wasn't paying what you paid for it. That just wasn't happening. But fun fact about Anthem, don't ask how I know this, but it's one of the last games that you could actually rent from the Redbox. Yeah,
I did not know that.
fun
wow.
fact.
I didn't know red boxes still existed.
So when I
They
saw the
do.
Anthem trailers,
They
I
do
was
when Anthem release.
yeah. When I saw the Anthem trailers, I was like, this game looks cool. I fly around in a giant like battle suit and
Be
like
Iron
fight
Man.
like people. Like, who doesn't want to be Iron Man? I ain't never played it though.
I tell you.
I gotta
Listen,
get
I
Play with somebody, that flying, I don't know any game that beats that flying. That flying is amazing.
And I bet if BioWare ever makes a Superman game, they'll probably take it, or an Iron Man game, they'll take that mechanic right from Anthem.
it'd be perfect.
But I think the problem is it's just like people really don't want to play grindy games right now, right? It's like some of these like Apex to an extent is like grindy to unlock some champions, but you know I don't notice it at all because I'm just killing people and getting called stupid by players.
Well, you know
Andrew,
what? Just join us on Enoch.
I've virtually
Enoch?
dragged Baron out of bed. You know, in hoes, I'm sick of this, Grandpa. Well, that's too damn bad. That's me getting Baron to play Outriders daily. I virtually dragged him out of bed. Hey, we gotta go save Enoch. Let's go.
Enoch needs us.
And before that, it was Dauntless. But Fame didn't hit nobody up. He just played
Baron
Dauntless
would
by
be here
himself.
when we were
I
playing.
did.
Yeah, I wasn't around for Dauntless. You know, there's no war here in Bossing Day.
Well, you know, there's going to be a lot of shows on E3, and we might just have some game breaks in between there. And Dauntless is different, and I want to get Fame back on it because there's gliders, there's unlimited.
I do need to get back to
controls now.
Dauntless.
It's
I do
so
need to
good.
get back
It's
to
not the
Dauntless.
same game. It's like
I
when
need to
somebody
get back
dives
to
into
Dauntless.
Destiny 2. It's confusing.
I tried to get in Destiny 2, and I was like,
Are we
yeah.
even able to name a game without a glider these days?
I am very thankful.
Destiny.
for that.
Division.
I have
Kingdom
no
Hearts.
idea.
Destiny.
Watch when they add.
Kingdom Hearts. There you go.
In Kingdom Hearts, you are the glider.
In Kingdom Hearts,
This
the
is
lore,
true.
the glider is buried in the lore that no one understands.
Right?
It's
It's one of the
it's
key
in,
blades.
it's in your clown
People
shoes.
do,
That's
people
that's
do
where it's at.
understand Kingdom Hearts lore. The same people that understand Metal Gear.
I say Kingdom
Lily
Hearts.
la Lulu.
Metal Gear,
How do you
Dark
know?
Souls, and Kingdom Hearts have the same exact lore as far as I'm concerned.
I think Kingdom Hearts lore is actually very, very simple. You, the main character, and the friendly Disney characters that join you on your journey are good. Everyone who attacks you is bad, and you must stop them. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Don't you simplify my fun.
I don't know. So I've seen
simple
Goofy
minded, I
murder
like
some
it.
people in that game. I don't know if you. I guess. All right. Goofy ain't getting. Yeah, Goofy's fine.
What do you think happened to the cast
great.
from a Goofy movie?
Oh, classic.
Same.
Tevin
We
Campbell.
you are always the host, and we never get to hear from you until like
Oh, yeah.
last minute. What is your expectations for E3? Don't give me your predictions, Beach. Your expectations.
Yeah, Beach.
It's one
Beaches.
word. Say it.
I wrote an article last year, and it was titled, "You missed E3 already, admit it." And I was laughed off of social media. I was told how stupid I was and how my opinion was wrong. Now today, everyone's so excited for E3. My expectations, honestly and truly, I expect there to be fire shows throughout the weekend. I expect the PC Gamer show, the Xbox Bethesda show. I expect even Nintendo to do an amazing job. I really think that not having it last year, sort of hurt in a way, because throughout the year we kept getting small show here, small show there, small show here, small show, and it got to the point where I was like, that show could have been a tweet. Like, we didn't need for you to have us count down an hour just for us to sit here for an hour and tell us absolutely nothing. EA. Like, that could have been a tweet. And so I'm expecting for people seeing what we dealt with last year and to have this somewhat blow out of a show. I think people are going to really enjoy it, and I really think these companies are going to really bring it at E3. I do think part of it is us setting our own expectations correctly. Because if we expect the world, we're going to get a city, a state at best. We won't get the whole world. But I am expecting a really good show. I do have my expectations in check. I'm going to take E3 for what it is. But I think after last year was such a drag, right? It was such a drag. Everybody had a show every other week, and it seemed very unnecessary. With that happening last year and E3 this year, I think people are really going to appreciate the shows, in my opinion. I really hope that's the case. Not to get all serious.
Yeah. I do miss E3, right? I don't actually miss the show itself, but it was the only time I got to see my friends. It's the only time I got to like hang out and like catch up with like folks that are also way too busy to ever like make time to like breathe. And it's the only time I can find a bacon covered hot dog and like feel good about eating it, right? And so
There you go.
all of these things make me miss E3, and then also getting drunk in the hotel across the street from it.
Memories.
Memories.
So he,
That
If you
won't
can.
remember.
when we party with him, he's gonna be the girl that we lose 10 minutes in. We're like, where's Andrew gone?
Where
We'll
is
find
Andrew?
them. We can't find them.
You won't find me
on
holding
top of the roof.
barrels of food and beer. That will be me and my content for life.
Without that
Nice.
beard, there's no way
trying
you're
to lay
going
it
to
out so
store
we know where to
buying
find
beer.
you.
If I was a clerk and you walk in beardless, I'm like, get out. Like, you're not buying beer.
Okay, fun fact. I got carded for the first time only a year ago. So it's like, I've always like, because it's like, I got a little bit of a baby face when I shave because I'm like
Yeah, you do.
6'1". Because I'm
Yeah,
6'1", I look like I could rip you in half. They're like, we're not going to card you.
You look like the biggest kindergartner.
I look like a baby's head with like a bull's body.
A baby tour.
I always laugh when we like interview people that are younger, or we talk to people, because here in Canada, in Alberta, the legal drinking age is 18. Everywhere else is 19. So I haven't been carded in a very long time because you can only also get tattoos when you're 18. Kitty!
Sorry, I got another guest star.
There we go.
Nice.
What's their name?
This is Louis. Louis, you can say hi to the camera.
Hi,
Louis
Look
like,
at
listen,
Louis
bro,
go.
I came here for you to pet me and feed me. Like,
That's it.
He just woke
Love
up from
me.
he just woke up from his nap.
Louis. Girl,
Love
I
me,
wish I could wake up
human.
from my nap.
And just get your back
Hey,
rubbed.
hold up.
So I didn't mean for
Hey,
the
real
cat to
quick.
interrupt what you were saying.
Real quick, are those like
Oh.
scars tattoos?
Yeah, this is a scar from FMA.
Dope.
I was gonna get the full sleeve, but then I went that hurt.
As long as
I
you got
got-
enough for people to
My point.
recognize.
I got a meal from Nier on my arm, and then
Nerd.
Kingdom Hearts up here, and I'm getting a cat felt. I'm getting a really cool tattoo on my leg here soon from Metal Gear Solid. Oh, not Metal Gear Solid, Cowboy Bebop.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
So-
once you get tattoos here, you don't get carded anymore. So I haven't
Yeah?
been carded since I was 18.
I got my first tattoo when I was 14.
I got it when I was 16, but I still had a baby face.
Oh boy. Well,
You know what?
I'll
don't
always
any
have a baby
tattoos
face.
because I'm scared. There.
Oh.
You know
I
what?
get it. I
I
get it.
don't deal with pain
I get it.
well. I don't.
See,
deal
There
with
ain't
pain
none of
well.
this like, oh, it feels good after a while, or your arm goes numb. The whole time I'm like,
Oh
this
no.
Lord, give me strength.
Dallas can probably agree with this. You go and get your tattoo, you're like, oh, fuck, this hurts. And then after it's done, you're like, damn, I really want another tattoo.
It's like
my
Yep,
my
that-
thing with tattoos,
And for me, in the middle of it, like once the pain stops, like once it starts to numb a little bit, it feels like somebody scratching the itch.
Oh,
I know that's a weird way to put
is,
it,
though.
but it feels like
no,
getting the itch
that especially when they're shading. Like, yeah.
Nah, it just feels
my
like someone's jabbing me with like 17 needles.
Thank you for being honest, Andrew. Thank you.
my thing with tattoos was always like, I would think about getting one. I would find this cool, like super elaborate design. I'd be like, yes, I want this. Like, I'm gonna get this huge back piece. And then I'd go to an artist and they'd be like, yeah, that'll be like $2,000. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and
And also,
years,
like,
I'm gonna look like a prune and it's gonna be terrible anyway. Like, nah, I'm good. I'll
$2,000
just spend, like,
and also
$2,000 on
like
alcohol
a
and
bunch
video
of
games or
sessions.
something.
A bunch of, yeah.
Yeah.
Tattoos are generally fine, but it's like when it gets to the bone, like when they were doing the shading around this part, I was just like
Elbow.
dying the entire time.
And I
Dude,
was
when
like,
they started etching
Yeah.
during the line outlines on my
you
shoulder,
got
I
solid
was feeling it in my
lines around.
toes.
oh yeah, and on my hand, and I have my ribs done. I would say the ribs was like whatever for me. I don't know. I have a weird
Really?
talent.
What people
I got
usually
my
hurt?
ribs done in San Francisco, so it was like I had to do it in one session because I was there for vacation. But my arm was like 5 sessions, and like Greg, I think I'm gonna pass out if you touch my elbow one more goddamn time. The elbow is the worst. The
Yeah,
worst
I don't know
is
about
That's
getting
a no
like
for me.
right there.
I can take a punch.
Right on the top.
No, I'm good.
I get one, and like I want another one.
It's not like yeah, that's really the thing. As soon as you get one, you're gonna want another one.
Yep.
And a
100%.
punch, I guess it
don't
depends on who
want
you
more.
get punched by, but it's not the same. It's
I try to get one. I try to get one at least once a year. Like every summer, I try to get a new tattoo.
You know what I think it is? They gotta put like there's a tiny bit of crack or something in that ink. So as soon as you're done, you're like, I want another one.
Well,
Like,
depends
I
on
want to come back and do it again.
No, when I was getting this
People
one,
look
like,
right
the lady tells me, she's like, "Oh, we have this new spray that will like numb your skin, and like you won't be able to feel it, but I don't give it to people because pain's part of the experience." I was like, "Lady," I was like, "What?"
Sadist.
After hours, that place turns
Pain
into
is
an
part of
S&M
the
shop.
experience.
Yeah.
I was like, "This ain't BDSM."
like Lord.
Are you
She
gonna
probably
take
said
me
it
out for
with a straight
dinner
face,
first
too.
if you're gonna
Yeah.
right?
God.
I'm
when I come to
all
the
the
States
way
next
good.
time, and I hope it's for. I know y'all want me to come down to Texas. I want to go down to E3.
We got to get to the
even
Texas.
though it's gonna be like $5,000 because Canada does not like anybody. I'm getting a tattoo. We got a budget for that, and fame.
Listen,
If I
forget
come down and get a
E3.
tattoo, I know Baron is already on board, and Dallas is probably gonna be on board. You gonna get a tattoo?
You'll get a tramp stamp.
Get
Okay,
level
you know
one
what? I'll
tattoo.
get Jeff
Controller.
Grubb in here again because he made you play Sekiro for our extra live stream. So I'm gonna get him
Yeah.
in
You
here.
know
and
those.
convince
You
to
know
get
the
a
things
tattoo.
like it's like a square, and like you put it on, and you get like a rag, and you put the rag on, and then
Temporary
you peel it
tattoo.
off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those are hardcore. You should do that. Those are hard.
Yeah, you should get one
I
on your neck
love
right here.
Andrew.
Hey,
Forget E3. Come for QuakeCon when it's in person next time. That's what you need to do. It'll be way cheaper. Your tattoo budget will be way higher, and you'll be spoiled more.
and then you gotta come see all the different PCs because they show out. They really show out.
Next
It's
next
okay.
January, I'm
if we
hoping.
doing our extra life thing, we can have it like Rooster Teeth does have a tattoo artist come and do some things.
to y'all.
There's also Twitch streams of tattoo artists. So Mike
You
Lake.
know,
Y'all.
I think for me, I'll stick
I
to
know
the
a couple-
tattoo artist that has a shop when it goes to cons.
They do have shops. Well, at least for Rooster Teeth, they do have shops, but they want it to be a part of the extra live stream. So they the last.
Oh,
one
I
from,
see what
like,
you're saying. I thought you were just talking like some random dude at a con
Oh,
offers to give you a
hell no.
tattoo.
I'm not
Like,
My uncle's
you.
basement. He does great tattoos. It'll be awesome. Come on.
Just bring your own alcohol and clean
Yeah.
utensils.
If,
So,
if
Andrew-
an artist lets you come in drunk, never get tattooed by them. By the way.
One thing we like to do at the end of the show, Andrew, is that we like to give people who are watching a suggestion for maybe a video game, a movie, or anime TV show for them to watch. Maybe something you're watching currently, maybe something obscure. So I'm gonna give you a moment to think on that, and I'm gonna go
I
around.
don't need
to
to think. I got it.
Oh, boom. All right, we're gonna start with.
Damn, he
What are
ready
you
to go.
suggesting? What are you suggesting?
All right, so raise of hands. Who's seen The Wire? That's not the suggestion. Just want to know who's seen The Wire. All right. Well, for those that haven't, The Wire is the best television show ever created. Right? It's a great show. It does an
Close to it.
incredible job. It does an incredible job at pulling back the curtain on this uncomfortable world, but still manages to be entertaining. Now, the show I think is about to give it a run for its money is when I just started. Snowfall on FX.
Snowfall. Yes, indeed.
Ooh.
That show show is so. I'm not even 4 episodes in, and this show is like already like it's like I think when the writers got into the writing room, better than The Wire. They're doing a great job at it.
Ooh.
So that's my suggestion.
He did not hesitate. Okay.
You find it on Hulu.
Oh,
Dallas
okay,
man,
thank
what
you,
you
'cause,
got
like,
this week?
Let me see. What do I have? Go watch. I know somebody said this 1,000 times before, but like Andrew just reminded me. So go watch Full Metal Alchemist. Brotherhood.
Oh, thank you. I thought he wasn't gonna say it.
Yeah,
Oh,
Brotherhood.
Terry,
to be
look,
exact.
both were good. Brotherhood was just better.
Yeah, exactly.
Way better.
Both were good, and I give you that. Brotherhood was just better. And if you want another really, really good anime, another one that we said like scream from the heavens 10,000 times already at this point, Yu Yu Hakusho. And
don't you
a
ever
random
skip that OP.
curveball.
Ever.
A random curveball. Go play Catherine because it's fire. And I'm not really super into puzzle games, but Catherine did.
No,
I'm not. Like I like puzzles in games, but like puzzle games, like, I know that sound crazy. Like on some like Onimusha type stuff, the little puzzle boxes and stuff. That's
Resident
cool,
Evil,
but that's not the whole game. Yeah, Resident Evil. Yeah, but that's not the whole game.
That's true.
But with Catherine, like you're not about to catch me playing freaking. I wouldn't with the whole Candy Crush craze. Like you're not gonna catch me playing like stuff like that. That's only one big puzzle. But I mean the game was great too. But I don't know, something about that block puzzle thing
Atlas,
that just
man.
had my attention. Atlas, they good at doing their thing.
Microsoft, please buy them.
Man,
I wouldn't be mad.
toss all that good stuff on Game Pass. Let's get it. And I don't know, like, oh yeah. Also, if you haven't played it, go play Metal Gear, all of them. And if you have, go replay 3.
Also, just do ask before. I guess maybe you'll understand a little better.
Say it again. I missed it.
Oh, I was just saying, maybe do acid before, because then the story will make some sense.
Yeah.
Or go get your official Kojima licensed glasses. That'll help you see and understand.
wait for the edible to kick in. And do the same with Kingdom Hearts. But actually,
Have the wiki up at each segment.
You got TV.
No, just go for the ride. Let them take them where you don't matter if you understand. Just let them take you where they take you.
That's true.
My number one Canadian, my favorite Canadian on the planet. What you got this week?
I thought Assemble was your favorite Canadian.
No, not even close. It's you.
Okay. You guys know I like to give you indies and TV show, whatever. Go watch Loki. It's on right now. I know I'm gonna go watch that tonight. For movies, go watch Ava. The end of Evangelion. Ava 3 has come out. I don't know if it's got a North American release, but it's out. For a game, indie, Spiritfarer. It's adorable. It's cute. You play as Stella and her little cat, and she is the what do you call that? The bitch, the carry-on person.
The ferryman.
The ferryman, exactly. That's what it is. And if you want
Okay.
to play another indie game, but that is swiftly turned into a big game, Octopath Traveler. It's 8 stories you can follow. I'm almost stuck on one because I'm a little bitch and I'm scared and I don't want the story to end. So Octopath is definitely that one. And it's on Game Pass. All these games are on Game Pass right now, so go enjoy it.
Octopath is on Game Pass now, and I didn't spend $60 for it on my Switch.
Oh, I bought
would
it.
spend
I got the
$60,
physical.
so it's one.
I also understand the sort of the plight of not, finishing something, because it's like I would start watching Better Call Saul, and I know one of the characters is about to die. I haven't finished the episode.
Same reason I haven't finished Baki yet. I just can't. I'm like, can't.
Our favorite crab, Citizen Sneak.
All right, video game. You already know I'm gonna say Mass Effect Legendary, but I have something else. Something that I downloaded on Game Pass. I was talking to friends about this earlier this week at work. I was sitting there late at night. It was like 10:30 at night, something like that. Just trying to wind down, get ready for bed. and none of the games I had like really were reaching out to me. I was like, I don't really feel like playing any of these right now. Like I just want to let me check Game Pass, see if anything jumps out at me that I should hop on and play. And I downloaded Rise, Son of Rome, and I started playing that. And it is a great pick up and put down, really cool cinematic experience that I've been enjoying. So I've been having fun with that. You should go play that. And it's on Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass. And in addition to that, I don't have a movie for you guys. I do have, I guess it's not an anime. I have a show for you guys to watch. I was letting some episodes build up, but I finally started Bad Batch the other night.
Oh, the
which
baby.
is if you guys were a fan of Clone Wars, watch Bad Batch. The first episode is like almost an hour long, I think, if not right at an hour. So it's a bit of a longer one. But after that, they go back to the normal 35-ish minute kind of time frame. So really cool so far. I'm enjoying it. You should go check that out on Disney Plus, of course. Which we didn't talk about it, but if Disney Plus ends up coming to Game Pass, I'm just gonna leave it right there. I'm just gonna take
You
my
wish.
Microsoft.
They did announce another 30-day trial, I believe. If you have Game Pass Ultimate, you get 30 days of Disney
Oh,
Plus.
don't you guys worry. Just because I've enjoyed being here so much, I'll send you all a bunch of Game Pass Ultimate codes, and I'll give some extra ones for you to give away to your viewers.
Nice,
Daddy?
man. Nice. I was about to say I love paying for Game Pass Ultimate. I have no complaints about it. If they want to roll in Disney Plus, I'm okay with them raising their rate. I'm fine with that. I'm okay with it.
I want to give your viewers a free month of gaming on me.
Man,
Hey,
This guy's the truth.
hey.
Part of the
You wanna
I'll give
family
you
kiss?
some
before you
whiskey,
leave.
but I drank it all already.
You got to give us a hoo yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Hoo yeah.
How about a who knows? Oh shit! I don't even know. I see. It's like under pressure. I couldn't do it. I can probably give you like an oh yeah, but like I can't give you a who yeah.
We'll take it.
There
It sounded like you wanted to snap into a Slim Jim.
There you go. All right, Baron.
I like
What are you suggesting to people to watch and or play this week, good sir?
I recommended it before, but I finally beat it. Please go and play Rain on Your Parade. It is the most innocent, destructive fun out there. You get all the powers. You get snowstorm. You get a tornado, and you just rain on humans. Parade. It is amazing. Game Pass. And then for shows, I'm gonna butcher the name. Snips, help me. Haikyuu. Go watch Haikyuu. It is on Netflix. It is an amazing anime. I am so mad at myself for waiting this long, but the one reason I'm happy is because I get to binge it. Thank you.
Never underestimate a good sports anime. They get you, man.
Hooked.
I have one
Hooked.
suggestion, and it's a hood classic, and I suggest this because it has popped up on Netflix. If you haven't, please go watch Bebe's Kids.
Go say it. I already knew it.
Go watch
Yep.
Bebe's Kids. If you haven't seen Bebe's Kids, it's a hood classic. It is
Hey,
worth the watch.
man.
You're gonna laugh and have a good time. You're gonna finally, if you haven't, if you're young, if you're 12 like Andrew and Hugger, and you ever had to turn Bebe's Kids, well, watch the movie and you guys will know where.
I know
Wheels
what
been called
Baby's
one.
Kids is. I'm not.
Oh,
I,
Wheels been called one.
I have a VHS player.
There we go.
Just know.
So rude.
Just know. Whatever you do, just remember they don't die. They multiply.
They multiply. Listen, it has been a absolute pleasure. Andrew, you are welcome to come back anytime. Grace
Thank you
us
for
with
having
your
me.
presence. It has been wonderful. Really appreciate you coming and taking some time out of your night to come and have some laughs with us. It has been amazing. Hey, if you guys if you go in the description down below, it'll be there in just a few moments. Andrew's socials will be there. Be sure to give him a follow. Be sure to give the Rainway app a follow. Be sure to follow my entire team. They work extremely hard at Lv1 Gaming.
Yeah, follow everyone else here. You guys are great. I'm just a guest.
We do 6 shows a week. Monday, 15 Minutes of Fame. Tuesday is Cogs in the Machine. Wednesday, today, the Double XP Podcast. Tomorrow is the Take 2 Podcast. Friday is Peep Game. Saturday is Ready to Press Play. And on Sunday, we rest. With all that said, congratulations. You guys are leveled up to 158 this was the Double XP podcast. You guys be safe. Keep your hands clean. We'll give it this Rona together. Take it easy.
사랑해.